Whoa!
Whoa.
I
What's
have
up, Mr.
not
Turk?
seen the new opening, Will, until just this minute. That
Well,
was awesome.
yeah, I got to see your live reaction behind the scenes. You're bobbing the head a little bit, getting the moves on. So glad to see the response has been positive. How we doing,
Yeah,
Mr. Turk?
I'm doing really good. I'm happy to see you today. I know that you're filling in 2 weeks in a row now, man. You're filling in on this busy holiday time for us on-air talent. I love having Will back in the front of the camera.
Yeah, it's been a very different change, right? Mentally, because you have to wear multiple hats. But getting back in the hosting seat has been nice, especially after or kind of around the holidays, right? Like we're all kind of getting a slower pace of life and
Mhm.
whatnot. So it's been good. It's been good, but I'm excited to host with you today.
I'm excited too, man. And so, we haven't really caught up because I've been traveling so much all over the
Yeah.
place, which is listen, inspired by Sarah. I get to travel all over now. I'm getting used to being in the airports and seeing things in different cities and different hotels and vacation rentals. So we've got a lot to talk about on those
Yes.
things today. You have any travel coming up?
Not as exciting as yours. Mine's all mountain travel. So the next,
Exciting.
yeah, it's more adventure outdoors, like go stuffer, type 2 type of fun. So it'll be good. I have a guided trip coming up December 19th, right before flying to Florida for the holidays. So it'll be nice to backcountry camp in the winter, learn some new skills, and yeah, be in the good old outdoors.
Yeah, listeners and viewers, if you don't know, Will Slickers is getting into mountaineering and he's taking it hardcore. I'm excited to see. I said, just be careful, man. Don't
Yeah.
We need to have you around. I don't want to see any of these crazy news stories. Knock on wood here, but I'm
Yeah.
excited.
No, 100%. I told my boss here at Skift, I was like, look, can't let my people down. So I'll make sure I come down safely. So it'll be good. It'll be good. But dude, catch me up with your travels. You've been to Italy, New York. I think you were just in Austin, Texas
Yeah.
yesterday. What's going
So
on?
Florence for fun. I'd never been. Had some time off. So you know what? Go for a little adventure. Had a quick trip. It was really quick. So I don't really tell people to do such a quick trip on a long flight, but it was good to
Yeah.
see something completely different out of this world. And then I just started realizing, man, I haven't been in-person meetings in a long time or seeing like certain friends and certain family members. And this year I had some people, pass away, had some personal things
Mm.
going on too. And I was like, you know what? I need to reconnect with people and really go and experience and travel. So that's what I did these last kind of weeks was business and friends, kind of mixing those together and going to some great places. So I got to go to an awesome wedding for my buddy. I'm give a shout out to the Sean Tarter, founder of Real Time Reservation. He
Nice.
was awesome. So he got married and then went down to Austin, Texas to build out Bahia, which is our landscape resort that we're building here in Miami-Dade County. So if you haven't yet, follow Bahia Miami on Instagram and you'll get the whole story. So that's really what it was. But now I get to kind of combine, right? Everyone talks about like combining friends and work and all these things
Yeah.
together. It's really cool to be able to do that now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I love the Bio project. As obviously I've been producing behind the scenes, I'm like always amazed by one, the photos and the concept, but two, just how little or yeah, I guess like how little of like actual concepts like these exist right now.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see, especially like legends. It's right, like it's so crazy to me to be like, oh man, I met all these people online, like you and Ben Wolf and whatever, and then we got to meet in person. Now it's like watching you guys do all these cool things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta
pretty
give
cool
a
to see.
shout out to Michael Golden. I think he's the one
Yeah,
who introduced me to Ben Wolf
yeah,
like 3 years ago, and now we're business partners and building something great. And so we just think we're onto something, mixing the world of agritourism, wellness, and unique experiential hospitality into one place. It's going to be exciting. So follow Bio Miami on
yeah,
Instagram. I'd love to see your name on the list.
yeah. Well, dude, if all goes well, which I know it will, we'll have to come up with
Live.
a mountain concept and start
As long
working
as
on
we
our
put
own
those
there.
together, those three said, if we can get those pillars together in any location, and agritourism doesn't have to be plants, it could be animals, it could
Yeah,
be fish, it could be all different things that we could do. So it'll be
100%.
exciting.
Let's do it. Well, we got quite the line of topics to discuss today, so I'm going to do my best to fill in as Sarah, but also kind of really let you take the lead on a lot of this because for our first story, at least, it's pretty exciting. Marriott, or sorry, not Marriott, Expedia Group has really taken the charge and hired their first chief AI and data officer. So big, bold move as
Yeah.
AI has been all the buzz. So I would love kind of your first reaction or thoughts when you saw this, and then
Yeah.
we'll jump in.
I think what first is who they hired them from. They took one of the leaders of Google
Mhm.
AI and brought them over to Expedia, really showing like how big a deal this really is to their company. And they're starting to see it. Expedia, they are the leader. When you think of OTAs, they really
Mhm.
are one of the leaders. They were one of the very first from the first wave of internet companies. But now they're starting to realize, man, Google is really starting to take our place with Google Maps and their Google AI, ChatGPT. I just used to plan an entire trip without you
Mhm.
going on Expedia or looking, right? And so they
Wow.
realize these things are happening now where people are like, hold on, we're starting to lose a grasp on these things and we don't have a great plan, but we do have a lot of users. How do we get them involved? And so that's what they really are going to focus on, is building that agentic AI versus
Mhm.
kind of what we're using now, is where they can think ahead. They can look at your personality. As Will Slickers likes to mountaineer, likes adventure, but also likes some luxury and spa mixed in,
Mhm.
build your package and feed it to you. And hopefully that'll make it easier for you to book. Did I get it right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I call myself a modern alpinist, right? Where it's like I don't want to suffer too long. I still want the luxury, the nice,
Yes.
comfort of
Yeah.
a good, vacation rental home or a hotel. So yeah, that's pretty much spot on, and it's really crazy to me. I want your opinion on this, or maybe thoughts, because like I've been thinking about how we all talk about B2B or B2C, and now I think this move with Expedia, having a AI chief AI officer really does create like the B to bot type, business to bot.
Might be the pot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for me is like, oh man, I think that's kind of the direction they're going, because you can see that these, MLMs or whatever you want to call these things as they're evolving is truly becoming kind of the extension of the user. So I don't
Yeah. So what I would say for Expedia, and I just did the trip that I took,
know.
right? I planned it using ChatGPT. I didn't use Expedia because I don't have the tool yet. I planned to go into Italy. Here's what you know about me. Here's what I would like to see. It fed exactly kind of the places I would want to stay. And then when I got there on the ground, I had Meta AI glasses, right? The
Yeah.
Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
And as I was walking around, I was talking to that AI and saying, "Hey, what am I looking at?" And it can see what I'm looking at. And I said, "I'm standing here next to Il Duomo. Give me 3 kind of cafes I can go to get an affogato
Yeah.
really quick." And it said, "Oh, here's one I found. Would you like directions?" Yeah. And then I'm listening to the directions in my glasses, so I'm not like glued to my phone and enjoying it. So all of a sudden I'm like, all right, this is a strange experience. And AI planned my trip, where I'm staying. Now it's kind of telling me where to go. I don't know how I feel about it, but I like it. It took me to places I liked. So I think that's what's going to be happening more and more. And
Yeah.
so I was to say, for listeners and viewers, I don't know if you've experienced anything like that. I would love to hear if you're testing it out in any way for travel or using it in your day to day for these kind of experiences. Let us know in the comments here, because I see so many of you watch them.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been kind of like having this conversation internally at Skift. It's like I don't want to become too reliant on the AI, right? Like I don't want to have it become my new go-to of whenever I don't understand something and have to search it and all that stuff. But it really, like you're saying, like it's becoming that. And I think to the use cases of what you've described, planning the trip, communicating to you in the glasses and whatnot is great. Like it's actually simple, it's easier, it gets you probably more in the moment, I would say,
Yep.
without having the screen on your in your face.
Right.
So yeah, pretty good stuff. But I would love to see with this new chief AI officer with Expedia, I want to see kind of what they're going to roll out in the next 6 months, right? Like, because I think this is really going to change distribution
Yep.
as they're really investing. Like, this is a heavy investment. Um, so
I
I
agree.
wonder, like, what are your thoughts on the distribution side? As you said, like, Expedia truly is one of the OGs, legends, biggest one with combination of not just hotels but Verbo, or yeah, they got Verbo for vacation rentals and
Mhm.
all the other types of inventory, and their B2B business is crushing. Like they are so profitable with that bad boy. So like would love to know what your thoughts are on the distribution side with this investment.
Yeah, I think here's what I think will happen. One, we know the hotels, we talked about it, I think 2 weeks ago, that how much money they're making on the
Mhm.
B2B side. So the hotels and vacation rentals, putting their stuff on the platform and helping get the ads out and the sponsored posts. Where
Mhm.
I think this will really happen is on a kind of twofold. One, as a hotel, you can really say, here's the kind of clientele I want to go after. Here's where I want my sponsors to go to, or my sponsorship ads.
Mhm.
Here's, kind of the prototypical profile of a guest I want. And I think it will make it much easier for those hotels to lock into those guests that are not part of like the Marriott and Hiltons and the big brands that have their own AI that they're
Yeah.
working on. So I think that will help. On the other side, I think it's going to help a lot in group travel as well, because like if you and I and some of our friends all want to go to a place, we all have different likes and needs.
Mhm.
We can really kind of feed all this into hopefully their new planning AI tool that they're going to be building, and it'll start spitting out things for us, which, that's the hardest part of traveling. Like, where are we going to stay and where do we eat and how do we make group reservations and how do we get onto Will Slicker's mountaineering expedition as he starts leading them. So I think those will be the things that will really help, is just take so much information and make it so much easier versus someone spending 2, 3, 4 hours trying to book something for everybody.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with the social media aspect. I know they've gotten some partnerships with some social platforms because we've talked about it on the show a lot. From Michael Golden's obsessed about this topic, and I know you guys have brought this up. But the inspirational moments really are happening on social, Instagram, TikTok, even LinkedIn now with pushing some video and more content like things outside of text. So it is cool to see that. Like you're 100% right, but I want to see like how they use the AI and capture the inspiration. How do they get the AI to pull that data? How do they get that more personalized, hyper focused view, rather than, I feel like right now it's a lot of general AI. It's like it's very generalistic. So that's just my curiosity thinking out loud. But anyways,
yeah, I think it's going to get harder and harder to see. Like, I could even see them having their own models going to these cities that are AI models. Like, I'm getting faked out left and right now. Like, I have to like triple and quadruple check certain things because I think I'm seeing something that's real, of a person in a city saying, "Hey, come check out this," and it's not a real person, right?
Yeah.
And so, and it's connected to an affiliate account, leading to one of the travel websites. So when you book, that lead goes to them. So, just interesting to see where this will all go.
True. Well, enough of AI chat. On to the next topic. We have TSA to charge $45 to flyers without real ID or a passport. So I know you guys covered the real ID thing in the past because that became mandatory in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was gonna say, for me, that's weird for me even to say loud, but I've been in over 10 airports in the last month, and there's signs up everywhere. And so if you're not knowing about this, when you get to the airport, they're making it in your face, ultra clear that you need to have it. I did see someone that didn't have the right idea, and they kind of pulled him out of line. They had to go stand somewhere, and they had to do something. I didn't see what happened, but now it looks like to get through, you got to pay $45 to go through if you don't have that ID. And what was amazing is this whole thing with the real ID started way back when George W. Bush was president in 2005. Yeah. This was his push from then. So it's taken 20 years to get a whole country to get their real ID. And now we're at that point to get on there. And I understand it makes it easier, safer, get on these things, get people through faster, which I do have to say, I was traveling at the busiest times during the Thanksgiving holiday in multiple airports. And TSA was on point. I didn't have to wait longer than 15 minutes. And it was the longest wait. And it looked long. It looked like, oh my God, I'm going to wait here for hours.
Yeah.
But they got people through very efficient in those places. Because I was going to talk about it today. I got to wait 3 hours in this long line, but
you were prepared. You were prepared for the rant of like, oh, damn, TSA.
I was ready, and they got us through. But that real ID, make sure you have it, or your passport, to get through. And now they're taking, I know you don't like this, but a lot of pictures of everybody everywhere. So pictures and video to get on the planes.
Yeah, I will say to all of our listeners, because I don't believe in a surveillance state or all this, digital ID stuff. You can opt out. I opt out every time I go to TSA. I give them my ID, I scan my boarding pass, and I say I would like to opt out of the photo thing. And they are okay with that for now, but there's going to be a day, I'm sure, that they're not. And anyways, we'll cross that line when we get there. But you can opt out if you're uncomfortable with your.
When I landed in Europe in Munich, you had to, or you were not going through.
I declined it in Mexico too on the way in from on a border control or whatever. But so for the TSA, for the $45 fee, just so for the listener's sake, I want to actually give some clear information too. It's not going to be mandatory. Obviously, if you have your real ID, you'll be fine. But if you don't have your ID or passport, this is starting February 1st next year. So you have some time. Go to your DMV, get the ID, do what you got to do. Because I think, and this fee also covers 10 days of travel. So basically, it's not every time you go out. So if you have a small trip, right, like you can really maximize this $45 you're spending on top of your trip. So I think that part is graceful enough to give people some time, but also I know I just hate being nickel and dimed. So if I'm paying for a trip and the flight was expensive and the hotel is expensive and then food and activities, and then you get, a $45 fee because you don't have the right idea. It's like, damn.
Go get your ID. But what
Yeah.
they're saying too is that a lot of people, for whatever reason, are not getting those ideas. So people are using trains more. They're going on road trips more. But I'll just tell you, go get your real ID. Go make an appointment at your local DMV and go get your ID if you can.
Yeah. What's so funny to me is like, it's a real ID, and all I did is add a little star on your driver's license. So
I know, not a
cool.
big deal. That's what I didn't realize either. But
Yeah.
interesting.
Very interesting. All right. For the next topic, I think this one's great. We internally at Skift, I was talking to Robin and Seth Borko, who is our head of research, and they released this really great report on hotel loyalty and how it's changing. But the article for this one is the great reinvention of hotel loyalty. And so I know, Mr. Turk, you're a big hotel guy. You're a legend. You're an expert. You consult with the biggest of the best hotels in the world. And so, what are your thoughts? Because we cover loyalty on the show often, from the Monday show to this show, and it's been a conversation, I would say, that's got a lot of repetitiveness, right? Like, because there's still a lot of things that haven't changed.
Yes.
But in this article, it's arguing that hotel loyalty programs are being kind of retooled to meet shifting guest expectations, more personalization, flexibility, value perception, right? Because I think that's the biggest piece. That is been a big disconnect in the world of anything right now, as everything's getting more expensive and the service and quality is getting lower and lower. It's like, where's the value in this? Why am I paying so much? So would love your thoughts.
Well, we talked about this a couple times now, and I heard this recently, that if you're saying that you are giving room upgrades, and Kate, good to see you. Procrastination story costs more than ever. It's true.
Yeah.
If you can't guarantee a room upgrade, you can't guarantee any of the benefits that you're offering, then what are we really doing here? And that's what you're starting to see a lot of the times, is people are showing their loyalty with their dollars and voting with their stay to stay at a brand, and then they're not getting the things that they were promised. It really kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And I heard this term again. I was watching a movie, and this is an older movie called Up in the Air, where George Clooney says it's simulated hospitality, right? To get that cookie or to get this little thing, right? Because he wants those points. And that term kind of stuck in my head. I hadn't heard it for a long, long time. And that's what I think a lot of it has become, is just like, we're doing these things because we're showing you hospitality, but then you're really not feeling that love of hospitality or that care that we see. And I think that's where loyalty programs have to get to. And if they can use AI to learn more about me and say, oh, we know that he likes these things in his room. He likes this type of temperature. He likes this kind of bed or these types of pillows. He likes a corner room usually. Let's get that for him versus a room upgrade. Get me the room I would like, or things in that room that I would like, I think is where it's going to start happening more and more.
Yeah.
We're testing those things out just locally in our, management company that I have here in Miami. We're starting to try to get as many of the comments that we get when people are booking and really use those to dial into what they want when they're staying with us. So they don't have to ask. And I think that's where the loyalty comes, is like, man, they really thought about me because I'm traveling with a kid, and that pack and play is here with some snacks for the kids. Or, I'm here on a golf trip and they got me some golf magazines and a cool golf themed amenity, right? There's like little things that you can do that I think go a long way, where it doesn't have to be just my room upgrade and an early check-in or late checkout that rarely gets offered unless you're booking with American Express, right? It's all those kind of things that I think matter. And so this will keep going on, and I will be loyal to certain brands. There's one that I will be very weary about lately, because when I was traveling, I stayed with Hilton, and it was not up to par on these soft brands, which I have a whole other thought about now after staying there. It gets interesting to see how this starts rolling out. But what about you? You travel all the time too, and you're now in the Skift world with all the reporters. What do you see them?
Yeah, I think 100% what you said. But for me, it's also too, I think the technology piece is really behind in loyalty. Marriott's done well, right? Like they've become a big OTA in their own regard with their Bonvoy program. But it's like what you said. It's like, when I book a hotel, or if I book a stay and I put something in the notes and it doesn't get reflected in the actual execution of the stay, it's like, what's the point? If we're not doing that. And that's why I've always liked, Richard Valter from Muse, and how they kind of built that product to be more of a CRM, right? Like if I stay at a Baia property, but then I go to a Tangi property, and let's say obviously they're different brands, right? Like, so how is one brand going to communicate to the other versus, if it's more of, if you're using a tech like that, where it's more of a CRM where I can book at any of your properties, any brand, soft brand, or the big, flagship, my profile travels with me. So my preferences go with me. And I think that is super important. So I think the tech needs to catch up, but I also think the staff, like it needs to come back to, like, I remember my front desk days like yesterday, to be
You're the
honest.
first
And
experience. Yeah, you're the first thing that people experience at that front desk.
exactly. And it took me a while getting my feet wet with it all, but really your preparation as a front desk agent or even just a team is so important. And it's like these details do matter. You can't just like read the notes and be like, oh man, okay, whatever. Who cares? He wants, down pillows instead of these other pillows. And like that all matters. Because guess what? You're gonna have to deal with that guest again. And it's just like, and it's not in the good way, not the good type of experience that you want to and encounter them in. And so anyways, it's just like I think we really need to get back to focusing with the staff, with the teams to execute hospitality. Like again, it's not simulated hospitality. We just need to start paying attention and do what we can.
Yeah, and just care. And don't say, "Is this your first time staying with us?" Even though I've stayed there.
Oh
100
gosh, 100%.
So,
It's one of my biggest ones. Yeah. So
very
yeah,
true.
that's
Very true. But I will be loyal to certain brands. Like again, we've talked about
yeah.
it many times here. I'm very loyal to American Express versus really the hotels and the airlines. But I'm starting to see a big difference now in some of the lounges of the airlines and how they treat people and what you get for
Mhm.
that value of money for being loyal to that brand is really starting to be eye-opening.
Yeah. For our live viewers, I know Kate's watching and she's always been a super fan. I would love to your guys' perspective too, because like you said, I do travel a lot, but I haven't traveled a lot this year. It's been like
Yeah,
very
been
compared to the
grinding
last
this
year.
year.
So
Yeah.
so it's been more of a get grounded, have a little bit more peace in my life. Uh,
Yeah,
rather than
it wears on you, man.
yeah, it does. It does. Awesome. Our next story, this one I picked specifically because it's basically right in your backyard. Nothing too crazy, but Marriott partners for Ambar residence.
The Ambar, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a resort styled residence right outside or right near Disney World. Um,
A lot of competition.
yeah, I was gonna say, what's the brand called? That's it's in Davenport. I'm blanking. It's
Like Reunion resorts there. You have a bunch of
yeah,
different vacation rental style things there.
yeah. I was gonna say like not the Encore, but it's like a
Encore, Reunion. They've got a
yeah,
bunch.
yeah.
There's
There's tons.
hundreds plus thousands of hotel rooms. But here's what I will say, which I do like to see, is this mix, right? I know that
Mhm,
Marriott, we talked about it. I don't ever talk bad about companies, but Sonder, right? They
mhm.
had Sonder. We've talked about Sonder a lot here,
Yeah,
and it really kind of fell off, right? But I
yeah.
think they learned so much from Sonder and being in that Marriott Vacation and Villas world and being in Marriott Vacation Club and doing all these things, with like independent vacation rental owners that now it's like, all right, we know what guests want. They want this space. Hey, Lou. Hi from Charleston. I guess Sarah's off in the boonies with no internet. I think you're
Probably.
right, Lou. You're
Yeah,
right. Um,
100%.
but now they know, and this is managed by Marriott. That was one thing I wanted to
Yeah.
see. They are managing it. It's not outsourced, and they're just putting their Marriott brand on it. So that's what I think is going to be a big difference. Is in all the travels I've been doing, soft brand makes me very nervous now because I've stayed now in a couple, and they have not performed to the standards of that hotel, and
Mm,
I just don't have the time to write a letter and be like, "Hey, man, they didn't meet your standards." But this is
yeah.
what matters. So you're gonna get your space. You're gonna have restaurant. You're gonna have the things that you want before you go hit the parks or whatever you're gonna do in Orlando. Or if you're working in Orlando, you've got an apartment style place. But you got to compete now with the thousands of vacation rentals, resorts, hotel rooms of all different price ranges. But there's more and more theme parks being built. So I guess people want to travel that way. But what do you think? You got the Monday show. You got this show. You see
Yeah.
it on both sides. But that's kind of my vision on it.
Yeah, I think it's more of the shocker for me is that it is Marriott managed, right? Like they usually avoid managing their own properties like the plague. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's due to the Sonder deal. Kind of the point that I made with Sarah last week was um as Citizen M got this new funding, it was really because obviously like Marriott owns the brand, but the Citizen M ownership group, the hotel ownership group of the actual properties got this funding. It was like 680 something million. And it was because of the affiliation of that brand now being under Marriott due to their great reputation, right? They're a legendary company. They're, go listen to Business Wars podcast and hear like between the story between them and Hilton.
Yep.
It goes deep. But with a tarnish on their name, like with Sonder, the licensing deal, they left, and it could be all parties, right? Sonder and Marriott both are guilty of this, I think. But they left a lot of guests high and dry at properties and upcoming properties, and they're out of a ton of money. So I think I don't know if the management move of this new Orlando resort is because of that, but I think they do need to be wary of who they let run their flag. Yeah, 100%.
I think they've learned a lot. Like they've taken a lot of information. They've been working on this for many, many years. They know now this is what guests want. They have so many millions of customers on their loyalty program that they can pull data on and really make decisions and see what people are doing every single day and where they're spending their dollars. So that's what's so important when you have that AI, that loyalty program, and how they're building it.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. So I cheer them on. I hope it works
Same.
because I think that's where I like staying more and more now, or these places that I know I can count on that are managed by true hotel companies.
For sure, 100%. And before we move on to the next and last outrageous story, Kate says, I wish everyone who travels was required to work as a front desk agent at some point in time. It's so important. I feel the same about restaurants and wait staff, which I could agree. I don't think we could make everyone work front desk. I wish we could. But I think it's man, if you understand how chaotic it is behind the desk.
I think just any service industry job where you have to serve someone is what someone should do. I just think that it's good for you and helps you build character. It gives you understanding of all different kind of people, and also like how hard it is when things go sideways to recover and to give some people grace when it's happening in front of you. Sometimes, like I see it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also I've become very much over time kind of the ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. Like we teach guests how to treat us by being a pushover or letting them, stomp all over us or cuss us out at the front desk or whatever. And for me, I've gone to the point, like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, yeah, that shit ain't gonna fly. So I think, teach the guests how to treat you with respect, give them respect first, but then obviously if things escalate, you can really, I think, put an end to a lot of bad behavior.
As an executive of hotels, I've thrown many out of large resorts for behaving badly. So I was all about it.
Yeah, 100%. More of that, please, in 2026. But this is a fun one. So we're ending the show with a little bit of a outrageous travel story. Sarah had this idea a couple weeks ago, and as I've been scrolling Instagram at night or whatever, I've been finding these crazy little stories. So I believe this was last week during Thanksgiving. Yep. 2 passengers arrested after allegedly breaking glass and running onto the tarmac to catch their flight as it was taking off.
Crazy. I love the video.
Yeah,
the video is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, it's just like I can only imagine, and I was picturing in my head like a movie scene, like this is John and Bob, and they missed the flight, they can't get it. It's like, John, I got a good idea, man. We're gonna smash this window, we're gonna jump out and chase the plane that's already on the move, and they're gonna let us on, man. And Bob's like, yeah, let's do it. And that's what it looks like. They just like
we'll have no choice but to stop.
Yeah, they're gonna let us on, man. I promise. And now they're in jail.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, I love the commitment. It's bold, it's committed, and I'm sure they're like, Mom is gonna be so pissed if we don't make it to Thanksgiving dinner. So we missed our flight. Can't keep missing our flights, Bob. But yeah, it's 100% just crazy to see what people are willing to do when they're in that travel mode. Like all societal norms just go out the window. They're just like, whatever.
I just started watching people in these airports I've been sitting in. I'm like, man, you've just never been on Earth for a lot of people. Right. And then you see the others that are well traveled and they're like, all right, we're just all in this big space trying to get where we need to get to. But it's just interesting to see people forget what's going on. Like my last flight from last night, 2 women got into a fight because one nudged the other and got up in the aisle to grab her luggage and skipped in front of her. Like everyone tries to rush off the plane, and big drama. And then the boyfriend and the husband started yelling, and they kind of split it up. And Victor Ferry and I are just trying to get off the plane, man. Just let us off the plane.
Those are the worst people, though, when the plane lands and they just start like jumping the line. It's like, oh gosh.
Yes.
That's when I really don't have the hospitality in me, and I want to start tripping people and really like cause a scene. But No, we can't do that. Okay, I can't be on the front page of skiff.com when people log in. So yeah. Anyways, good episode today. Thanks for letting me fill in for Sarah. I know it's big shoes to fill last week while you were gone, and big shoes to fill while Sarah was gone today. I didn't grab a quote of the week, but I would love to know, just with your travels, I don't have a real-time recap moment, but I know you must have something. So
I have
love
something.
to hear. Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. Usually I stay positive, but I'm gonna mix it today. So
All right.
soft brand. I'll keep it quick. Went to New York for a wedding. You know, it's a holiday weekend. Everything's expensive. I book through at a Tapestry Collection by Hilton. Looks pretty good. I do my normal search of reviews, mixed reviews. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay here anyway. It's a Hilton. It'll be all right. I get there, 10:30 at night. No one's at the front desk. Security officer is standing in the corner on a speakerphone talking about the New York Knicks with his whoever, loud. And I just stand there. 10 minutes goes by, 12 minutes. Now we're at 15 minutes. And I say, hey, is there anyone working the front desk? Oh, she'll be back. She'll be back. I was like, anyway, you can call someone. I just want to get to my room. So I'll go find her. So he disappears. So another 5 minutes goes by. So now we're at 20 minutes. Finally, she comes up, just annoyed that I'm there, right? Just not like sorry or I'm so sorry, just like checking in. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Yes, with my luggage. Okay,
Wow.
here gets me credit card, ID. Here's your room key. Go to the room. New York, windows wide open. Okay, freezing in the room. Fine. Close the window. Go to turn on the heat or AC. It's dangling out of the wall. Right. I'm like, all right, let me just look at the bed. Spider on the bed. I'm out. So I go back downstairs within like 3 minutes, and she's like, everything okay? I was like, here's what's going on. I need a different room. Well, I have another room, but it doesn't have towels. Then I'm like, okay. Well, can we get towels from another room maybe that's available? She's like, I have another room with towels. Let me put you in a room with towels. And then puts me in a room with towels. I get there, headboard peeling of leather with like little crystal headboard. I'm like, where am I staying? It's so late. I can't find anywhere else because I'm not in New York City. I'm like upper state New York. And that was just the experience I had there. I'm like, I can't believe this. This is awful. Went to sleep. But on the flip side, I was just in Austin, Texas, in a tiny town that my business partner, Victor, booked called Martindale, Texas. And he booked an Airbnb through Airbnb. And it was awesome. It was great. And the hosts were great. Everything was cool. So it just shows you can't really trust the big brands sometimes. And sometimes that one-off cool location in the middle of nowhere, Texas, beats that every time. So
yeah,
just interesting to see over basically 5 days, 2 trips, the 2 different worlds that you kind of run into. And through the tech, I felt cared for with the text messaging and checking in on us. And I left you this in the fridge, and I got you some coffee, and I left it here for you, versus the spider in my room and not happy to see me. So
yeah,
we all go through these things, but it's the interesting world of the evolving world of hospitality, of how all these kind of stays are changing and what you get for what you pay for.
For sure. Well, I know all my coworkers now at Skift are probably not going to like this statement, but I've never had a good hospitality experience in New York. I think everyone's just angry and upset there. So I try to avoid New York, but obviously it's where a lot of our events are. And I've just, every time I've been at a hotel, it's like, man, what are we doing here? Paying a crazy ton of money for just angry service. But
there's some good ones there. I'll give a shout out to my boys over at the Lowe's Hotels.
Okay,
had a good time there. And one thing I do want to do, maybe we can create at the Plaza Hotel. I want to go for the Home Alone experience at some point in life during the holidays. So
yeah,
we'll have to let us know. We'll come experience it.
We'll have a lot of GMH trips coming up in the next year for some Skift events and stuff. So we'll get a Home Alone scene together. You know, do something fun. Love it. Well, I just want to say thank you to our live viewers, Kate, Lou. It's great to always see you guys, and thank you for. I know I'm not on this show often, so I always appreciate your support when I see the comments come in as the live producer. So, just want to say thanks to you guys, and of course, if you haven't already, for our listeners, like and subscribe to the show. Give us a good review if you like it. If you don't like it, just email me before you leave a review, and I'll try to fix it. And yeah. What do we say at the end of every episode, Steve?
Hey, stay hospitable, everyone.
Like it. All right. We'll see you all next week.